Welcome to Insight with Blue Feather. I am Reverend Janet Reynolds. I am an ordained minister, yes, and I am a psychic medium intuitive counselor. Blue Feather is my guide, and he gives me all the information. We are in the now, and I give you insight and confirmation to what is going on with you. Or going on around you. Once more, welcome to Insight with Blue Feather. If anybody has a question tonight, please call 813-814-1601. And if anybody would like to email me, then please do that at janet@bluefeather.net. And then once more, please know that my website is www.bluefeather.net. I have a fantastic guest tonight. Her name is Tracy Kern. Tracy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, no worries. I appreciate you being here. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tracy first before we really get into details. Okay, Tracy is the creator and the publisher of the Conscious Shift magazine, which is an online magazine where new ideas are taken root for a challenging world, which God knows we have a challenging world today. I'm saying more ways than one, okay? And then it also provides information that incorporates health, wellness, and spirituality all in one on a global platform. I would like to add a little bit more information about Tracy before we call her to the microphone. She has an extensive background, which includes marketing and sales, as well as numerous certifications, training, and studies in holistic and healing modalities. She spent several years studying and trying to understand both the allopathic and alternative medicine worlds. And I sincerely believe, Tracy, that I have done the same thing, because I've been every bit of 30 years of study and 20 years of the real thing. But what she came to understand is that no one would be willing to go through the miles of peer review and deciphering of $10 words in an effort to get what they needed to restore or maintain health and wellness. It was easier just to ask an expert and trust someone else's instead of learning for yourself. And I really do believe that, Tracy. I do believe that it's much easier to ask somebody something than it is to try to figure it out for ourselves. So how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. I have a note on that. It's rough. It's really rough. The one thing I remember was when I was in school studying the alternative medicine and all of that, we had to do a peer review paper on docosahexaenoic, right?
Uh-huh.
What the heck is that, right? It's essential fatty acids. Why can't you everybody's heard of essential fatty acids, right?
Right.
Or at least it's pretty easy to figure that out, but docosahexaenoic and everything about peer review was like that. And I was like, no, that's just, why? Why make it harder? And so that's what led me to do the magazine. I was like, let's speak to people and not laugh at them. So.
Yes, and that's so very good. Now, Tracy, I'm going to ask you to tell everybody a little bit about you, why I run over and turn my TV off because my sound is interrupting what we're doing. So tell everyone a little bit more about you, please, and I will be right back.
Okay. My name is Tracy Kern, you know that. She's said it a few times. I have done a lot of really cool things in my life. One of the things that's probably the most notable is when I was, before the age of 18, I was a glider pilot, and a student ambassador with the United States government. And I soloed and flew gliders in the Alps. It was a really amazing experience to have at the age of 18. You know, it's like, how do you top that? Then about 5 years later, I was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor and was told that I wouldn't make it to 30. There was just no way. And so we went through the surgery, went through everything, and what it left me with was a really powerful pair of hearing aids because I'm considered to be profoundly deaf, but we are working on that to get to recoup that. Let's see, she just left me all on my own. I guess I'm going solo. I said, oh, you're back.
I'm back.
So I said, I guess I'm going solo.
I've been listening. You were not solo. You know what I think, or what I thought when I read your bio, your resume, and everything. You know, just to fly from an airplane. How was that? What was that like?
Oh my God, it was. Oh my God, I just said that earlier. It's like, how do you even compare anything in life when you've done that before the age of 18? It's like, it was amazing. It's just amazing. So I had my glider pilot's license. And then that summer, I was a student ambassador to Austria and flew gliders in the Alps, the Austrian Alps. I mean, like the hills are alive with the sound of music as I'm glider flying. You know, it was quite an amazing experience.
So that makes that you flew through the air with the greatest of ease?
Say that again. I flew in the air without an engine.
Of ease.
With ease and grace.
You did do that. In other words, you flew quite easily, right?
Well, the way they do it is in Austria they had I guess it's called like a catapult, and it's this super fast thing it's a super fast pulley that they hook the glider up to, and they get you going with enough acceleration that you just launch. At least that's how I remember it. And you have a certain amount of time as a glider. You don't have an engine, right? So you do have to pay attention. But with it being the Alps, you would catch different thermals. So it was like it made the ride last really longer than it normally would.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was quite fun. And it was a really fun experience.
I think it's beautiful that you were able to do something like that, because not too many people do glider flying. Do you think, or is there a lot of people that do glider flying?
No. Well, my whole experience with Civil Air Patrol when I was a kid, I was going to rule the world. And then, so I was in Civil Air Patrol, and I was going to be in the military, and I was going to be the very first female general ever, and I was going to be the first female F-16 pilot, and and I had all these ideas, and then I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and you can't do any of that with a brain tumor. But it genuinely, it changed everything. And at first, it didn't feel that way. At first, it felt really terrible. And ultimately, it is what led me to study the alternative medicine, because I wanted to know how to heal me. I didn't want someone else to tell me how to do it. I knew chemo and radiation were not the way, because I had been through it. I understood and felt what it was like to have your body ravaged by chemicals and drugs. Mm-hmm. Redundant, but it was rough, and emotionally and mentally, and the scars that it leaves for years to come is you can't quite put words to it. So I knew when I started studying the alternative medicine that was the beginning of something really good for me. I just I never expected that after 4 years I would be really over sitting in a classroom full of hearing students, not hearing half of the class. And then what it meant to go and spend 4 hours in a class and come home and have my wife decipher 4 hours worth of notes so I could then do the studying again, so then I could go back to class the next day. And it was rough. So that was when I was just like, yep, no, we're not going to do the doctorate. We're just going to get this done and over with. And then I'm sitting there, what do I do with it? Right? And that was when I decided we need to try and explain to people what docosahexaenoic is, and we need to speak to them and not at them. And that was an amazing shift in consciousness, which, kind of like a plug, but that's what led to the magazine. Which, led to all the spiritual stuff, led to all the book publishing, the studying with the shamans for the years that I studied with the shamans, doing the Reiki master, all of those things. It really,
I think it's beautiful that you got to study with the shamans. And what area were you able to study with the shamans?
Well, I did a lot of home studies. I did a lot of, I had we did webinars before webinars were the big thing. I would do home study, and I would sign up for a program. I would do it like that. But on 2 occasions I did ayahuasca. I went and I actually was with the shamans, and the way they explained it, or at least the way I understood it, please don't email me and text me, you're wrong, if that's not your truth. For me, when we were there and we were dealing with these Peruvian shamans, and they were saying that ayahuasca is a learning tool. It's going to show you things about your life. And the first time I did it, I was like, whatever, this is a joke. Actually, it was like everything I ever read about what an ayahuasca experience should be. And so then I'm like, okay, let me sign up for another class. Let me do it again. Yeah, if I had known now what I knew then, I may not have done it, because I died. I literally died. Anything you've ever seen in a movie about mashing of teeth or being in hell or any of that, I was there. It was, at one point, I actually rolled over to the shaman who had invited me, and I said, tell my wife I love her, because I'm not going to make it.
That's pretty heavy, though,
Tracy. Really, well, this is where it gets better. I get goosebumps, because at that very moment, I felt the hand of God pull me out, and it was amazing. One of the things that they do at the very end of an ayahuasca ceremony is the shamans dance to bring everybody back in. And I asked my friend who's also a shaman, but she was partaking in the ayahuasca. I said, do you dance? She goes, oh no, we usually can't walk for a couple of hours after. At night, when the shamans danced, I got up and I danced with the shamans.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, yeah. It was one of the most profound experiences of my life. I mean, you think glider flying in the Alps in Austria was cool, doesn't even hold a candle to this. It was like literally finding yourself as you were when you showed up, fresh out of the womb, before everybody should all over you. Should all over you. They should. It was beautiful. And that was what showed me everything, And of course, there's been a lot of work since then, but, yeah.
I think spirituality takes a lot of work.
Oh, honey, that probably could be the phrase for the year. Yes, it does. It does take work.
That's good. Our phrase for the year. That's a good idea. Spirituality. After and because of all that has transpired with all of us in this past year and a half, I really believe that those who have been able to keep some peace in their heart and been able to accept what's been going on in a spirituality mode, that's a good way to say it. I think we've come a long way. I talk to people about this all the time around my coaching, and we're meeting rough spots right now. And the bottom line is if you didn't do any work before this last 3 years, you're being forced to do this work. To me, it's like everybody's on ayahuasca these days, right? Because they're just having to deal with this. We all think the world's falling apart. It's not falling apart. It's falling into alignment. Mm-hmm. This is
exactly what we've asked for. And there are more light bringers on this planet right now than there have ever been because we're making this shift in consciousness.
Yes, and I feel that that's so very, very important. I really do. So,
Oh, it is, yes. I mean, it's everything.
So let me ask you a question, please.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you come up with your idea of publishing both books and the Conscious Shift magazine at the same time? I bet that was not easy.
Well, okay, so let me clarify that. First of all, I had the magazine about 5 years before I started the book publishing. And just so you know, when I started the magazine, I did not know how to even post on Facebook. I did not. I didn't know anything about it. And I was very blessed to have an IT person. Her name's Kathy Perry. You may know Kathy. And she talked me through the whole thing, taught me everything that I needed to know to set up this magazine. And then as I go, and she then said to me, now you need to write a book. And I'm like, I want to write a book. I don't want to write a book. Well, what she was really saying was you need to learn how to publish. So I wrote the book. I wrote my book. And I did it in an effort to learn the publishing world. I didn't realize how many people would be so interested, or I want to say touched, without having an ego, because I don't mean it that way, but how many people have told me how profound the story is and what a difference it's made for them. So that I kind of tumbled into the book publishing once I had established the magazine. And because everything is now digital and we can order everything online, I do the publishing for people in a way that they can do this and they can have control and they can own their product and they don't have to have a third party requiring them or whatever. But it was really about just self-empowerment and then empowering others. Just like the docosahexaenoic story I told. Just say he's such a fatty ass. Okay, just help me publish a book and don't make me continue to pay you for that book I just paid you for. As a publisher, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, it does make sense. Let me ask you a question. Are your books on Amazon?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay. So if I wanted to put your book down on my Kindle, I could, right?
I'm going to shamelessly plug myself.
Okay.
You can find them online on Amazon. Oh, hold them back up.
Okay, I need you to do that. Yeah, I have to put my glasses on due to circumstances beyond my control. I want to read your book. So Finding My Possibilities is one.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Conversation with Crows.
Yes.
Well, I really believe Conversation with Crows would be a really pretty special thing.
Did I talk to you about this before?
No.
Okay, I wrote this book when my father passed. He told me to write this book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, after I wrote the memoir, I was like, I ain't doing that anymore. I have people published, but I'm not writing any more books. And Dad had passed. And in Finding My Possibilities, I talk about how I was out to dinner with Andrea, my wife, and a crow showed up. And I'm like, oh, and we knew it was almost time. I said, Dad's gone. And an hour later, I got the call. So Dad talks to me through crows. Okay, so then I get back from everything, write the book. A couple of years later, everything is kind of, down to whatever. And the crow starts visiting me in my backyard when I sit and I have coffee in the morning. And I'm like, okay, hi, crow. And then the crow comes, and the crow comes, and the crow starts to walk in the back door. And I'm still ignoring it. Then the next day, the crow shows up with the whole, which it's when you have more than like 5 crows, it's called a murder. Not like a scary way, but they just call it a murder. And the whole murder showed up in the backyard. And I'm like, okay, I'll listen. And so the book was inspired by Dad. He just was like, you need to do this. And basically, I just talk a little bit. It's kind of like you can pick it up and you can look at any paragraph and get a full story. Some of it's about conscious shifting. Some of it's about my philosophies. It was really fun to write. I know it sounds funny. Like I have one chapter called Unlimited, and I start the paragraph out with the quote by Marianne Williamson. So it's that kind of thing. I talk about millennials. Mm-hmm. because they get such a bad rap, or at least the time that I was writing this book, they were getting a hugely bad rap. And it occurred to me that it's not that they're lazy, it's not that they're whatever. We don't know how to communicate with them. They speak a completely different language. And
Right.
honestly, you better get used to those millennials, because they're the ones that are going to save everything, and they're going to help us with this progression from being in the human body to being more digital and being more in line with technology. And make no mistake, technology can be spiritual. That technology does not have to be all about the negative. It can be very uplifting and very, very profound and powerful if you choose to use it that way. Okay, there you go.
I feel, yes, it can be very uplifting, Tracy, just with the kind of work that I do, you know, as a reader, as a psychic, a spirit medium, but just in life, talking to friends, because I have learned so much about spirituality. I really have. And I just wrote a story called The Challenge, and ospreys. Ospreys are my favorite, with the eagle, the hawk. The osprey is a hawk. And when I started powerlifting, and I went over to the university, UFC, to sign up to do powerlifting because I wanted a challenge.
Yes.
When I got through talking to the coach, and when I was leaving, there were 3 ospreys outside the door of the gym.
Wow.
And that to me was Father, Holy Spirit, and all 3, you know. And it just, to me, it was I felt their way of letting me know that what I was getting ready to do, it was a good idea. Father, Holy Ghost, and Spirit. So I knew that things were good. So I understand what you're saying about the crows, because the animals, our animals around us, tell us a lot if people would stop and pay attention.
Yes, they do. Yes,
you know.
Yeah.
All right, let me say what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to have a station break. We will be back. I can't hear it. think we're back.
Yes, we are.
And how are you?
I'm good. That was a long break.
Not really, but the music
No,
is good. The music is good.
Yeah.
Yes, but Tracy, what project are you by chance working on now?
What projects am I working on now? Well, we're always working on perfecting the book publishing. I'm always working to be more, I should say, user friendly, but it would be writer friendly. But I recently started a passion project, and let's hope it doesn't stay as a passion project, because don't they say that passion projects don't usually make you money, right? But it's just, let's hope it doesn't stay that way. I recently started getting back to something that is very dear to me, and that is making jewelry. I used to collect beads and jewelry and artifacts when I was in my teens, and I have beads and jewelry stuff from the 1800s. I mean, literally the 1800s, and from Africa, and shaman beads and trade beads and you name it, beads. And at a certain point, I just threw them in the closet and never touched them again. And about 2 years ago, I was like, you know what, it's time. It's like, it was kind of like writing the Crow book. I kept getting the messages and getting the messages. And the older I get, the more I know that if you don't listen to the messages are going to show up in a way that's going to be a little more disturbing than if you just continue to ignore them.
Exactly, because they're trying to get your attention, and
they are. We're just taught not to listen to that stuff, or we're taught that it's, oh, that's woo, airy fairy, or you're nuts, because stupid. We're on planet stupid, and people are not. They're not thinking. They walk around living in a stupor. But anyways, back to the passion project. The passion project is channel jewelry. So I'm making this jewelry, and I'm having a great time. And it's heartwarebytracy.com. I've got Viking knit, I've got chainmail, I've got you name it. I've got all of these pieces. Most of them are all one-of-a-kind pieces, and I'm being guided as to exactly what goes with what. Everything has a name and it has a reason. I'm wearing one right now. I can't completely remember the name of her, but it's about balancing grounding, and it's got this recycled rubber on this focal piece that when you look at it, it looks like the water washing away and bringing strength and standing with apatite and sterling silver around it. See, I do that thing. I have a bracelet. I have a couple of bracelets on. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. That's my passion project. So when I'm done with Conscious Shift and publishing, I get up, and I'm so blessed. By about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I get up and I go to the other desk and I make jewelry.
And I think that's beautiful. I really do. I do have some jewelry. You say and I have my grandmother's jewelry from the 1800s.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll have someone bring something like that to me, and they'll be like, "Could you restring this, or can you make it modern, or can you help me work through this?" And yeah, right.
Yes,
and you can just feel it. It just vibrates in my hands. The energy, the story of the wearer and the owner, and then the story of what it's going to do for the new person. There's nothing like it.
I know, it's beautiful, but let me tell you another thing that I have.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
I have my baby bracelet.
No way! Really?
And it says it's blue beads, blue and white beads, or they're like a turquoise, and they have my maiden name Wheeler on there, and it also had a medal of the Blessed Mother.
Oh, say the last part again. Oh, what?
A medal. There was a medal that was chained to it of the Blessed Mother. Now, I had it restrung or strengthened, and I ended up losing the medal of the Blessed Mother, but I still have the whole thing. And I'm not going to say how old it is. But it's past 50, okay? 50 years old.
You say turquoise. You said turquoise, right?
It's like a turquoise, little teeny beads, turquoise and white. And the white beads have the name Wheeler, my maiden name, inscribed on it.
If you rest that on selenite every night or whenever I don't know if you still use it or wear it, or if you just look at it, rest it on selenite.
No, I wear it sometimes.
Okay, put it on selenite and you're gonna feel it's gonna pick it up. That's the other thing I do with my jewelry is I put everything in a selenite. I do it in an amethyst cake first and then it goes on selenite. Because the selenite is, for the elevation and the higher calling of everybody on the planet right now.
Yes. What we'll have to do is we'll have to get together and I'll bring that bracelet with me just to show to you. But I really would like to bring you the necklace and the earrings that I have that belong.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Huh?
You kind of took I know, I talked over you, I'm sorry. You took the words out of my mouth because I was thinking the exact same thing, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yes, because it's a beautiful pink stone. I have no idea what it is, but it is got to be over 90 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would really love to see that, Janet. That would be fun.
When Kathy Perry has her next meeting, I'm going to make that, and I'll bring it with me.
Let's do that.
Yes, I will, because I have my writing class on Tuesdays, and usually I'll do the 3 weeks of writing class and then the 1 week with Kathy, but things have been a little hectic. So
yes.
I did talk to Kathy and told her I'll be at the next one at Unity. And because I love her meetups. I really do. So
I do.
So when we do it, I'll bring them with me. Okay.
I'll text you. We'll text each other. I'll make sure I'm available that day.
Yes. Yeah, because she'll email us. Okay.
Cool.
So now let me ask you this, please, because we have about 8 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 10.
Okay.
What message would you like the people to get from your show or your show?
I think the most important, there are two things actually. You are the foremost expert on you. Go within, because that's where the knowledge is. And if you have help if you have trouble with that, talk to somebody about it. It doesn't mean medication. It doesn't mean, any of that kind of thing. I think you really genuinely go within and your answers will be there. It will help you know more about what you really have to do. What you have to do to find your power, because you are greater than anything you know. The other thing I think that I say it all the time, I'm sure everyone is sick of hearing that the world is not falling apart, it's falling into alignment. Mm-hmm. When we all showed up here at this time is because we wanted to be here for one of the greatest conscious shifts of modern day. And just breathe and do your best and know that it's all going to work out.
Well, I think that that's important to know that it is sincerely all going to work out. I do a lot of readings for people. I really, really do. And I work up at the Bodhi Tree at the Citrus Park Mall Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. And I sometimes get the most beautiful people. And the other thing that has come about of late that really fascinates me is I'm getting 14 and 15-year-old children.
Yeah.
Adults, however, we're young adults.
Wow. They get it. They understand. They're just trying to navigate this better than any of us did.
and they do get it. And let me tell you, the girls that I work with at the Bodhi Tree are in their 20s. And sometimes I know they don't know more than me, but sometimes I feel like they know more than me.
I just love being around the young people that you can just feel. You can feel their knowing, and there's nothing like it.
I know. So, the one thing that's important more than anything is for all of us to stay positive as best we can, to work with the situation as best we can, and a lot of people have, I'm going to use the word accumulated, anxiety, depression.
Yep.
It's been a big change, and
yes.
hopefully
it's heavy. This is heavy stuff.
Yes, it is. And for the little kids. But I swear I see so many beautiful young people at the Bodhi Tree. I see a lot of older people, of course, also, but it fascinates me, the younger crowd that comes in to look at the crystals, to get the sage.
Yeah.
The other thing is they come in, they love the smell. They love the smell of the Bodhi tree. It has a really good smell to it. So, spirituality and working with people can be a challenge. And a lot of people don't want to believe in it.
It's true.
They don't.
The other thing too you mentioned, right, this is like a plug. It's one of the reasons that that the magazine works so well for people is that these younger people that you're talking about that want the information, they're so digitally inclined. ConsciousShiftMagazine.com. I mean, it's just another. I know I just plugged myself again. Sorry. It's just another.
Don't be sorry. Do it again because they need to know, and she has.
Right. It's free. I'm not charging anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. The advertisers are not in your face. You probably wouldn't even know if they were an advertiser. But yeah, it's about getting the information out there and helping those exact people that you're talking about that come to the Bodhi tree. We're looking. The consciousness is there. We have to provide enough information to feed that consciousness in order for everything to move forward. Yeah.
And you're not wrong about that. And I really sometimes I find it an honor when I get a man and get to do a reading for a gentleman. And I did a reading last week for a mother and a daughter, and the following week she brought her husband in and her other daughter and her sister. And that to me was the most beautiful compliment.
It is.
It really is. Because, what Blue Feather has to say, he's very definite and direct. But, only we can make the changes.
Oh my God, yeah. It is. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's the bottom line is everyone's looking and everybody has a different way of receiving the information.
Yes. And
we provide the platform.
Right. And we do not want to be the victim.
No.
We do not. I don't want to be the victim. Do you want to be the victim?
No.
God love your heart. I hear everything that you have been through. And I've had a few issues myself, but I feel, have made me stronger.
I was just going to say they're what make us great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make us relatable to so many people on so many levels because we didn't give up. I know a lot of people who have been through a lot of things, and it's just really sad when they give up.
I know.
You're in this body, you're in this experience, and it does get rough. And some people just they don't want to do it, and that's okay. I respect that. But it is sad. We're all the same. We're all one.
And we have a choice. We have a choice. So, but
We
then
do.
we were talking about meditation, balancing out our chakras.
Yes.
And all of that. I balance out my chakra every day. My chakras every day. And I've been doing this for years and years, and I learned it from Shirley MacLaine in a video from 25 years ago. Can you imagine that?
That's cool.
Yeah, and then what I did is I created my own version. So I took her 45-minute tape and put it down to about 12 minutes of balancing out my chakras myself, meaning the same thing she taught us, but a little bit quicker.
People don't understand the importance of that because they can't see it. And a doctor never prescribed a pill for it, or no one, right? And
yes.
That's another example of you doing your own chakras. It's another great way of going within to find your own power.
Right.
Going within to find yourself. And it's beautiful. It really is.
It's a beautiful way to say it. It really, really is. So I've come a long way. I really have. So now tell me how you would like to end the show for yourself.
For myself?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I am abundantly blessed, and I am so honored to be on this journey. I have a beautiful wife. It took many years to find and get out of the way to find her. She is genuinely my soulmate. I'm doing what I love, and just turned 50, and it's amazing. I didn't realize how great it was going to be. I can't wait. I just had someone the other day tell me, just you turn 70. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I love the fact that I am no longer comparing myself to other people. I'm just knowing that I am enough, and I got some really good stuff going on. And the more I do that, the more abundance shows up, the more all the good stuff shows up, the more conscious shifting happens. And I actually get to live what I talk to people about. That I think that would be it. I guess another thing to say would be that I do the book publishing, I do the magazine publishing, I do coaching, but I also do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I don't know. Is that what you meant by tell people about me?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't talk about myself like that a lot, but yeah, I do all of those things. And again, those are all side effects of the blessing of just getting out of my way. Actually, again, like we said before, when I did the ayahuasca, it was huge. It was huge. I can't even explain it. It's not, I'm not saying that it's a panacea, but for me, it was what I needed, and it really showed me.
Well,
that and my wife showing up, she's amazing.
Well, yeah. I think that's beautiful. I do, Tracy, and I think what's important here is that you love you, and I love me. And I learned that 40 years ago, and that's when I moved here to Tampa. And I'm very thankful for everything that comes about in my life, even if it is challenging. So, yes.
When you love yourself, and I can sit here and I can hear you say that, and it almost gives me goosebumps and tears, because it's just like, how nice is it to meet another being who's just enjoying, right? Yeah. That's something else that's changing, is I'm being so blessed with those people showing up. And oh my God, this is just getting so fun.
Yes, say so. But the name of the game is to keep on trucking.
Yes. Do you remember those, was that a bumper sticker or a tire flap back in the 70s that had the keep on trucking motto? And it was, yeah.
You know what I want to do? I want to create a t-shirt with a big truck, a cement truck or a big truck, and I want to put a blue feather in the back of it. And then I want to say, just keep on trucking.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing that I've learned to say is TBC, to be continued.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, because I find life very interesting. But thank you so much for being on my show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I really do appreciate it. And now tell everybody your webpage, and then I'll tell them mine.
It's the magazine is consciousshiftmagazine.com. It's free. If you sign up for our email, you'll get two monthly emails, but we will not spam you. We will not go overkill. I do not share my mailing list with anybody. And I don't know, as last count, we had over 1,000 articles on there about this kind of thing, everything from health and wellness, alternative medicine, spirituality, conscious living. So you can literally spend a couple of months and not read the same article. But we do publish a new topic every month. And we also do the book publishing. And I can either walk you through the process of publishing, ensure that you own everything and everything down to your digital files. So then you can take it and print it anywhere. I think I know what else.
It's all good. I have some stories that you and I can talk about that I have written. And I do have 2 stories in 2 different books. So
nice. You did the compilation.
Say that again.
You did. Were you in a compilation? Is that what that is?
Explain that word.
Yeah. So usually a compilation is when like one or more authors in a book.
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
I just learned.
That's a really good way to get published. And book publishing is the thing these days.
Yes, my one book is Transform Your Life, and there was 60 of us authors that wrote a story, and I wrote a beautiful story. And then LEC, my writing class that I am, just put a book out, and it's Ambers and Fire, and one of my stories is in there to do with COVID-19, which COVID has just upset me.
There's a lot of people,
I'm sure. So I sat down and I wrote for 3 hours and just released all my anger.
Right.
And wrote a beautiful story. So this.
Those compilations are great coffee top tables. Coffee table books. That's what I'm trying to say. You can pick it up and you can read for 10 minutes and you can get a full story.
Yes.
They're really great for that.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize the power of that until I wrote the Pro book, but it's really cool. That's neat that you're in 2 of them.
Yeah. No. I think life is interesting.
Yeah.
I do. So thank you, girl. I appreciate it. And everybody and anybody who would like to call me at 813-814-1601, please do that if you have a question. And then also my webpage is www.bluefeather.net. And some of the stories that I have written are out there. And I also have a video out there that you can buy for $20 and see and watch on How Psychic Are You, I'm sorry, Meet Your Spirit Guide. So it's a half an hour video. So thank you very much, everyone.